Hi, my name is Bella Nome. I'm 12 years old, I'm in 7th grade, and I live in La Mirada, California. Welcome to my home. Well, actually, my grandparents' home. I live here with my mom, my dad, my 2 younger crazy brothers, my 1-year-old little sister. She's super cute. But we're moving soon. We're moving to Acton, California. We'll own 10 acres of land. It will be so much space. I can grow a garden, have a farm. It will be awesome. Like I said, I live with my grandparents, so we're always having big, elaborate parties with my uncles, my aunts, cousins, my whole family. So, today I'm making you an appetizer, because one of our favorite parties is an appetizer party. Everyone brings a bunch of different appetizers. So today, I'm making you an appetizer. So the first thing we have to do for our appetizers are peel the shrimp. So you're just going to start by putting your finger underneath, and it should just pop off. It will be a little slimy, but that's normal. And now, our shrimp are peeled. Next, we have to devein the shrimp. So just get a paring knife, and you're just going to hold the shrimp. You're going to start with it this way. You're just going to cut a little slit in it. And then you want to make sure there's no brown stuff. In this one there isn't. So then you're going to flip it over to the other side and do the same thing just to the back. And then there'll always be that little bluish gray thing, and you're just going to take it out. You might have to use your hands, and then I just like to put it on a little paper towel. And then let's move on to the next guy. Okay, now I'm going to just have my shrimp in a bowl, and I'm just going to rinse them with some water just to get any excess shell that might have been in the bowl. And then you're just going to dump out the water, bring it back, and then you're just going to lay them out on a paper towel so that they're nice and dry when you go in to make your marinade and dump it on so they can get all the flavor. So now I've just moved my shrimp off to the side, and now we're going to start our marinade. So just get a bowl. You're going to need a whisk, and a knife, and a fork. So we're going to start by taking a lime. You're just going to cut it in half. Then using the fork and cupping your hands, you're just going to move your fork around and squeeze at the same time, and you'll get all the juice out nice and easy. Well, this dish did come from when we were having a party, and I saw that one of my family members made this super good jalapeno shrimp. And then I made this corn salsa, so why not put it, and I was eating them together anyways, so then I decided, why not make them into little cups? So now that you've juiced your lime, you're just going to get a zester, and you're just going to want to zest one full lime. So you're just going to go really easy, and you don't want to get any of that white part. So you're just going to roll it a couple times, check, roll it a couple times, then check. And make sure that you don't get that white part, because that white part is going to be super bitter and it will ruin your dish. So there's 2 ways you can zest this lime. You could just go back and forth, turn, back and forth, turn. Or you can do what I like to call the Michael Simon and just slowly go across, checking every once in a while and just rolling it very gently. Okay, that's good. Okay, now we're just going to finish up our marinade. So for this part, since it is jalapeno shrimp, you are going to use some jalapenos. But if you want, you can use gloves, because if this gets in your eyes or your nose or anything, it will sting so bad. I remember once I was cutting a jalapeno and the juice squirted up and hit my eye, and I could not see, and I had to wash it out with water and soap, and it hurt so bad. And you also want to use another cutting board, so I just have this little plastic one, so it's not ruining my other cutting board and my other vegetables. And you just want to get out a separate knife. So now you're just going to cut the tops off, and if you want, I already have these washed, but if you want, you can take the seeds out, or you can leave them on and the veins, depending on how spicy you want it. I want mine pretty spicy, so I'm just going to slice them up just like this. Okay, that is just about, there we go, done. Like I said, so when you're cutting your jalapenos, after you cut the stem off, if you don't like spicy, see, I love spicy. Spice, I love it. But if you don't, you see all these seeds and all these ribs, what you can do is just take a spoon and ever so carefully, you want to do it facing down, you're just going to scrape it out until you don't have any of those ribs or seeds in there, so it's not as hot. I'm just going to put these in our bowl with our lime juice and the zest. That's going to be delicious. Now you're just going to take your shallot and see, you don't want to use that knife you used or that cutting board you used for the jalapeno. Just put that in the sink, and you're going to want to wash your hands in warm water with some soap. Okay, so now that since that's done, just going to start, you're just going to cut the top off the shallot, cut your shallot in half, and now you're just going to want to peel it. So any of that outside skin, you won't want. Okay, there we go. Now you're just going to, use a whole one, and you're just going to make slices, nice medium-sized slices, because you do want all this flavor to get into there. And you're just going to put that with our jalapenos. Once again, you're only using half of it. And now you're just going to take a spoon. You want to give this a stir so all those flavors can just start marinating. Now we're just going to start adding all those flavors in to give that shrimp an extra level. Just from this, it will be good, but adding the rest of these spices is going to be delicious. So you're just going to add in a little bit of paprika. I love paprika. It's a nice smoky flavor, and it adds a great bite. Then some rice wine vinegar. This is just a sweeter vinegar than, like, just if you were to use, for example, this apple cider vinegar. There's a difference because this is a little sweeter. Now also, since we did jalapenos, I'm going to add in a touch of honey and a little bit of chili powder. I love chili powder. It is so good, and it smells like tacos, so it smells really good. Now just some simple salt, some simple pepper, there we go. And then the last two things, you're just going to want to use some Chinese chili sauce. Not too much though, because it is also very spicy. You can leave this element out if you don't like spice, but since I love spice, I'm going to add it. And then just some olive oil. Cover this whole thing and just have something for the shrimp to sit in. Now you're just going to grab your whisk and whisk it, but as you're whisking, you want to make sure you just kind of mash up the jalapenos and onions just to release all their oils. Now just drop in your shrimps. There we go. Now take your spoon, just coat them, and now to the fridge to let marinate just for about 5 minutes. So we're going to let our shrimp marinate from 5 to 10 minutes. You don't want to do it too long because then it will turn into ceviche because of the citrus in there. But in the meantime, we're going to start by cutting little squares into our flour tortillas. So you just want to measure them. So I know that about this much will just work for the tortilla, for our little muffin tins for the tortilla. So then I'm just going to cut that like that. And then you're just going to take one and see how long it needs to be. And then you'll just know for the rest. You can just measure them up. So let's say you need it about here. So that just do in half. So you're just going to do it in half to all of them, and then you'll spray this, but you want to spray away from you because then it will get all over you and it's just going to be a mess. Spray that. There we go, just like that. And then you're just going to take your little tortillas and you're just going to place them in there very gently. And see how they're just making little cup shapes? That is just what you want. And you want to do like every other one basically. So like this, but then see how I'm doing this row? Well, so it will be this one, but not these two. So they have some room to cook. So if you have a problem with these popping out, for example, like this guy, you could just go push them down. And then if you want, you could get some beans like you do when you're making pie crust. And you could just put them in there and bake them, but these will be fine. Or you could just microwave them for like 10 seconds before you cut them. So I'm just going to spray the tops of these so they don't burn when they're in there. And now these are going to go in the oven at 420 for about 5 to 10 minutes. You just want to keep an eye on them so they don't burn. set my timer, and see you in 5 minutes when my tostadas are done. Okay, now we're gonna start grilling our corn for our corn salsa. So I have this grill pan back here preheating already. And in the meantime, I'm just gonna take that spray again, and you're just gonna spray it so you can get those great grill marks on your corn, and it will add a great flavor to it, a really nice smokiness. So while that's doing it, I'm just gonna start chopping up all the vegetables I need. But a great tip is if you just put a towel underneath, and you might need to fold it over depending on how big your cutting board is, and that's not gonna go anywhere while you're chopping. So I'm gonna just have a bunch of tomatoes, and you're just gonna slice them. I like to do it in thirds. And then you're just going to cut them in chunks because you don't want them like tiny, but you wanna be able to taste them. You don't want them too big. So I just do this in quarters, so I cut it in half, then cut it in half again. And there we go. So just make sure when you're cutting these tomatoes that you get this little middle part out, because you don't want to bite into your corn salad and then get that crunchy stem. So just slice that off and then go ahead and cut it just like that. Dice it up and you're good. My 5 minutes is up, so just make sure you go in the drawer and you get something to protect your hand with, because otherwise it will burn. Now you're just going to take them out, go in there, and just pull out these cups. You see how beautiful those are? Perfect. Make sure you also turn off your oven. Now it is time to put our corn on, because you can see our grill's smoking. Put them on, and you're just going to let those go for another like 5 minutes, and then just make sure you're rolling them evenly so then they get nice and brown on all sides. So now I'm just taking some olive oil and some salt. I just put these corns on, and I'm just going to drizzle them just so I make sure they don't burn, because burnt corn isn't very good. I can tell you that much. And I like to use sea salt. It's just a better kind of salt. It's a little bit coarser, and it's really good. See how much coarser that is? So now I'm just going to sprinkle this all over. There we go. Now I'm just going to turn our corn. Look at those marks. That means it's getting all caramelized. It's going to be so good. So I'm just going to turn it and let the same thing happen to the other side. There we go. So for our salad, I want our shallots diced really fine. So one way to do that is you're just going to make little slits going back, but be very careful, and then you're just going to go this way forward. You're just going to do a bunch of these, and this will give you a nice even dice. Oh, and if it comes off, just chop it then. But now you're just going to chop them all together so then it is nice and minced. And now you could just add that into your bowl with your tomatoes. So like I said before, I really enjoy fusing things together. That's how I came up with this recipe. So that's kind of like one of my cooking styles. I love to just take something ordinary and plain and just turn it into something new by combining it with something else. I'm just chopping up our jalapenos, and see, this one doesn't have the seeds in it because I don't want it very spicy for our salad. I just want people to notice it's there to add an extra layer of flavor. Now we just want to turn our corn a little bit more. It's almost done, but we just want to make sure that it gets nice and caramelized on all sides. See that side, nice and caramelized. Getting so, oh, don't roll away. Getting nice caramelized marks, and that'll be delicious in our corn salad. It'll add a nice sweet smokiness that this salad will really need. Just going to add in our jalapenos, add a nice spice once again. And now I'm just going to start the rest of the things for our salad. So we're going to chop an avocado, and you just want to make sure this part comes out. And an easy way to do that, to chop it, you're just going to go straight down, and then you're just going to curve it on your knife. You're just going to hold your knife in one place, then curves, and then you're just going to open it up. Look at that perfect color. You use the end of your knife, hit it in there. You just want to give it a twist. It might take a couple times. Then you're just going to pop out the pit, and now using your knife, you're just going to make the slices in there, into your avocado, then go the opposite way to dice it. Then once you are done, you're just going to grab a spoon. Super simple, by the way. Grab a spoon, go in there, and you're just going to pop it all out. And look, it's all nice and diced for you. Okay, now I just have some black beans here. I just got the canned ones. It's easy. And make sure you drain them. You don't want any of that bean liquid in. And you're going to put that into our corn salad as well. Okay, and then you're just going to take a spoon and you can mix your onions or shallots, your avocado, your tomato, and black beans. And that looks really good. Okay, now since that's done, we're just going to come back here. We're going to pull our corn off since that's done. Pull it off. Look at the caramelization. You're just going to set it to the side and you want it to cool down a little bit before you cut it. But also, it's not perfectly cooked because then you still get a little crunch and then you have a different textural combination. Now, just going to head into the fridge because our gorgeous shrimp are done marinating. All nice and marinated in there. I'm going to grab a pair of tongs. I'm just going to shake off any. Just going to grab our shrimp, shake off any of that excess. This is already oiled and our shrimp are in oil. You're just going to put them on there. Oh my. Hear that? That's going to be so good. And if shallots get stuck on there, that is totally okay. I actually recommend accidentally getting shallots stuck on there. It will just add so much more flavor and deliciousness. One more shrimp hidden in there. We're just going to let these go for a couple minutes because otherwise they're going to be way overcooked. See, like I can flip these already. Getting that nice caramelization that we want. These will be done literally in seconds. Just going to put a couple jalapenos on there too to add an extra amount of flavor. Okay, now our shrimp are done, so I'm just going to grab them here and then just move them to my cutting board. These only take a couple seconds. And I wish you guys could smell in here. It smells so good. It smells like you just went to a Mexican restaurant and they're like serving you that big tray of fajitas. You know that when you order fajitas, you get on that cast iron skillet? That's what my kitchen smells like. Perfect. And you see our shrimp, they get that nice mark from all those different components in there. I'm just going to put them to the side, let them rest for a minute just to let all those flavors breathe, soak up in there. And I'm just going to start by taking some cilantro. You're just going to want to pick it off the stem. You don't want too much of the stem on there, if any. So you're just going to take a bunch. You could also just, if you wanted, you could just go straight down and that will pick off a lot too. And you're just going to get a bunch of these leaves. I just like to pull them off here, nice, simple. Then any of these big stems I'm just going to take out. Okay, that's perfect. And now you're just going to go through and give it a nice dice until it's all nice and chopped up. Just into a little bit smaller pieces because you don't want it tiny where you can't taste it. This will just be added into our salad. Look at all those colors. How pretty is that? You get the purple from the shallot, the different greens, that brownish black color from the black beans, and that bright, vibrant red. Okay, now we're going to cut the corn. And so to cut the corn, an easy tip is, you don't have to do this, but otherwise your corn might go flying. So just take a bowl, and then take a smaller bowl, and you're going to put it inside, just like that. Now you're just going to take your corn, like this, and then you're just going to go straight down and get all the kernels off, and then they'll just go right into your bowl. Then you'll turn it right along, and you want to make sure you get all that caramelized goodness because it will taste so good in your corn salad. Now I'm just going to do this to both our corns and put them into the bowl. I just finished doing our corns and they're nice and clean. And you're just going to take that smaller bowl out of your bigger bowl and you want to make sure you get all the corn off because you don't want any of that delicious flavor to go to waste. And now you're just going to go in there with your hands, and if there's any of the little hairs that are on the corns, just make sure you get them off. And you see these chunks, you just want to break them up. Just putting your hands in there, breaking them up. Now this corn is still a little warm and that's just how we want it. we're going to dump it in with the rest of our salad, the tomatoes and shallots, cilantro, beans, avocado, and we're going to stir it up. Look at all the colors. Doesn't that look delicious and so pretty? Perfect just for summer. You could just eat this. It's delicious by itself. Put that to the side, and now you're going to take that lime that you zested, just give it a roll, go in half. Once again, our fork trick. You're just going to stick the fork in again, and you're going to give that a squeeze all over. You're just going to use half the lime. You're going to taste it, see if it needs more, and if it does, you're going to use the other half. There we go. That's half our lime. Now, all it needs is some salt. That's good. And some pepper. Perfect. And just a tiny touch of olive oil. You don't want too much because then it'll be like oily, but if you don't have enough, it won't be moist enough. Now just give this a stir, and that is it for our corn salad. Now using that little bowl that you had in your corn, since you're just going to flip it around, it's fine. And you do want something to go on top to kind of cut through everything, so I'm just going to take some sour cream, and I'm just going to put it into a bowl here, just like that. Just going to give it a stir, and you're going to take a little bit of lime juice. You're not going to use a full half lime. You're just going to squeeze a little bit of the juice out, maybe a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons. Give that a stir, and add in a little bit of cilantro, and you can just rip this up in there with your hands. And then you're just going to stir it, and there's your crema. Okay, there's the last of our leaves. Just going to stir it in there. And look at that. You get a little bit of green flecks, but it will taste so good on top of your cups. Now, let's assemble these. Okay, so now we're just going to take our shrimps, and we're just going to take your knife, and you're just going to cut them into chunks. Because one whole shrimp is not going to fit on top of this little cup you have, but you want to be able to taste the shrimp. So just do this to all of them. Going to chop them up, and look at the caramelization on these. It is so pretty, and it will add so much flavor, like a ton of flavor. And when I was cooking these, I dumped some of the marinade oil on top to add another level that will just make it so good. Okay, now that we have all our components ready, you're going to start with a little cup you have and with your corn salad, but before, you just want to take a fork and taste it. Perfect. You're just going to put a little scoop of your corn salad in, a little shrimp or 2. I'm going to do 2. I feel fancy today. And now a little dollop of your crema. And if you want, I fried off some of the scallions and the jalapenos. And I'm just going to take one of these and put it right on top. There you go. Enjoy. There you have it, folks. My corn shrimp salad tostada cups. Thank you for coming to my home.